International Organization, World Bank Group. This is the part 2 of this video series. You should watch part 1 before watching this video. In this video, we are going to discuss World Bank, objective, members, leadership, voting power, and criticism. World Bank motto: working for a world of free poverty. Headquarters: Washington DC, USA. Membership: 189 countries in IBRD and 173 countries in IDA. President: Jim Yong Kim. Objective: the restoration of economies destroyed by war, to provide long-run capital to member countries for economic reconstruction and development, to induce long-run capital investment for assuring balance of payment equilibrium and balanced development of international trade, to promote capital investment. The restoration of economies destroyed by war. The Bretton Woods Conference in 1944 was intended to recover from the devastation that was created by World War II. And World Bank gives assistance in BOP crisis and help balance development of international trade, and also it promotes capital investment to member countries. Members: International Board for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD has 189 members. International Development Association, IDA, has 183 members. IBRD membership is compulsory to join other World Bank institutions such as IDA. Capital of the World Bank. The capital of the World Bank was issued to member countries in the form of shares. And there is no quota system like International Monetary Fund. 2% of the shares are payable in gold or US dollar. 18% of the subscription is to be paid in terms of members' own currency. And the other 80% needing to be paid immediately. But members should keep their own reserve bank and should pay whenever it is demanded by World Bank to meet its obligation. And this remaining 80% that is kept in members' reserve bank, that is callable. 2% of shares are payable in gold or US dollar, and the 18% is to be paid in terms of members' own currency, and the remaining 80% is deposited by member country only on demand by the World Bank. Leadership: the President of the World Bank is President of entire World Bank Group. The current President is Jim Yong Kim. Traditionally, the President of the bank has always been a US citizen nominated by the United States. 189 members are represented by a Board of Governors, who are the ultimate policy makers of the World Bank. Generally, governors are member countries' Minister of Finance or Minister of Development. They met once at the year at the annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the World Bank Group and International Monetary Fund. The President of the World Bank is President of entire World Bank Group. And tradition is the President of the World Bank is a US citizen nominated by United States. And International Monetary Fund managing directors are traditionally Europeans. And the 189 members of World Bank are represented by a Board of Governors. and these board of governors are the ultimate decision makers of the World Bank. The 2016 annual meetings of the Board of Governors of the World Bank Group and International Monetary Fund was held in Washington, D.C. from 7 to 9 October 2016. Honorable Finance Minister Arun Jaitley attended the meeting. He is the Finance Minister of India, and generally governors are member countries' Minister of Finance or Minister of Development, and they met once a year at the annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the World Bank Group and the International Monetary Fund. And this year the meeting was held in Washington, D.C. from October 7 to 9. Board of Governors is a general body, and all powers of the bank are vested with the Board of Governors. Board of Governors of the bank is consisting of one governor, generally the Finance Minister, and one alternate governor, generally the governor of the Central Bank in India, RBI, appointed by each member country for a term of 5 years. And the voting power of the governor is determined by the financial contribution of the concerning country to the capital of the bank. That means higher financial contribution, higher voting power. And United States has the highest voting power in World Bank. US has the 15.85% of the total voting power. Board of Executive Directors. Board of Governors delegate 25 executive directors. In 2010, the number of executive directors increased by 1. Now there is total 25 executive directors. 5 largest shareholder appoint an executive director, while other member countries are represented elected executive directors. The 5 largest shareholders are US, UK, France, Germany, Japan, and China. There are 25 executive directors, and 5 of them are appointed by the largest shareholders, and other executive directors are elected by member countries. These countries appoint an independent executive director. They are the largest shareholders. Here there are 6 countries, but voting power of France and voting power of United Kingdom is equal. Largest countries by voting power: USA, Japan, China, Germany, France, and United Kingdom. Here you can see France and United Kingdom have equal voting power. So higher financial contribution means higher voting power. And the countries which are the largest shareholders appoint their own executive directors. So these are the countries which appoint their own executive director. Other executive directors are elected by member countries. Voting power. Voting power of member countries are determined by the financial contribution. Higher financial contribution, higher the voting power. Each member country receives share votes plus basic votes. So the largest shareholders have largest voting power, and this is dominated by rich countries. 2010 reforms increase the voting power of developing countries, notably China. US has the largest voting power, that is 15.85%. The next Japan 6.84%. China 4.42%. Germany 4%. France and UK 3.75%. And India 2.91%. Voting shares of World Bank are mainly determined by countries' economic weight. More than 60% of voting power are held by richest countries. more than 45% are held by countries from Europe. Poorest countries have negligible voting power and have in any role in decision making.